thoughts of Mike Steph, this marks a new beginning. Thanks for supporting a total reinvention. The soul is still here, but the vibe's a little different. Unpredictable, hide the kids and the women. Sports of all sorts, music, mixed for living. Rep New York City, but ain't the politicians. Always bring the heat, Steph bacon in the kitchen. Big shout to y'all, I appreciate the listen. Donnie put the rest, but I'm still in the best. In the world of what I do, all y'all know the rest. I live it, I breathe it, I'm the whole definition. The pinnacle, the ultimate, I'm on a new mission. The salty thoughts of Mike Steph, featuring the one and only Mike Steph, the best in the world of what he does. Tap in. But I'm living in none while waiting to my 40s to consider a run. Been telling y'all for years that my rhyming was done. Main motivation was not becoming a bum. You think it'd be easier, Craig gets measlier. The more my eyes open, the game gets seedier. Everybody's your bro, every comment is flames. Probably bet back in the days, most these niggas were lame. Most these niggas dames think the trail blazing. Only by yourself with your born bars amazing. I thought the same thing, great covered by Beijing. Wisdom embraced, learned not to be impatient. Right the block I'm facing, but is it really? Had the time coming, I just don't have the feeling. Maybe I don't wanna be open with what I'm dealing. Selfish with my trials, tribulations nearly killed me. Took 40 plus years for me to feel comfortable. For now it's Mike Steph, no more mention the Donnie. Ooh, y'all don't have a clue how I deal with the shakes. Anxiety creeping, silent killer like snakes. Cut the grass low, exposing the fakes. My therapeutic anger ain't decreasing the stakes, it's increasing my rate. Heart trying to keep pace. Took a while to feel at ease, looking at my own face. A whole new space, grounded by new gravity. Used to love to float, but I'm drained like a battery. 10 months free, more in touch with faculties. Monkey on my back, sees to try to tackle me. Tackle to the ground, wanted flesh by the pound. Muted voices in my head, I don't hear a sound. Pristine mind and body, no more shackles, now I'm bound. The roam free in the world, the real me now I found. What up, people? I said, what up, people? Welcome to another edition of the Salty Thoughts of Mike Steph podcast, featuring the one and only Mike Steph, best in the world at what he does. And this week, in particular, just a reminder, or should I say, Mr. Reality Check is telling you, yes, that's right, you, the viewers, whether young or old, and if you're young, or should I say, if you're pre-adolescent, maybe you should want to cover your ears right now, because I got a secret to tell you. Santa isn't real. Or really, my preferred speak, which I should have just put down there. Santa ain't real. In the year 2023, man, the sights I saw today in my excursion to Sam's Club / Walmart and Santa's and Mrs. Claus and, you know, Santa's little helpers. Listen, at the risk of getting myself in trouble, I will refrain from what's currently going on in my head. But let's just say, I did not see Mama kissing Santa Claus. I'll leave it at that. Well, if I'm talking about Santa, I guess you got to know that, Christmas is actually, by the time y'all receive this on the airwaves, Christmas will be 7 days away. 7 days away. Christmas. Christmas used to be my favorite holiday. Right now, I wouldn't say it's a holiday of inconvenience. No, 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 no. Um, it's a holiday of melancholy feelings, a holiday of mixed emotions, and a holiday of fully embracing my tender age of 47, fully embracing my splotches of gray amongst this beautiful mane that I have on my face, and just actually really enjoying the fruits of being a grandfather, or as my four grandchildren will say, pop pop. Yeah, because pop pop had to get on his ball this evening and make sure that I can send stuff to the fake Santa to make sure that they get up on Christmas Day for some gifts, and those gifts will be courtesy of Pop Pop and Gigi. But regardless, so yeah, that's what's going on. What's going to go on deck this week? I know I told y'all. Matter of fact, before I get into that, because I'm always getting ahead of myself. I like to thank each and every one of y'all who tuned in, who listened, who watched last week's episode, episode 34, entitled The Trials and Tribulations of Mike Steph. It was a very important episode for me. It was a very, uh, what's the best way? A very heart-wrenching episode for me, but it was also an episode of growth. And I know that I have some new listeners, new viewers out there, and I really truly appreciate y'all for giving me, the sociopath, a chance, and hopefully you are going to be a recurring viewer, a recurring listener in the weeks and months to come. Because little do y'all know, even though it says episode 35 of the Salty Thoughts of Mike Steph, I'm rapidly closing in to my 200th episode altogether, which is a freaking milestone. It's a freaking landmark. It's a freaking accomplishment that damn sure I'm proud of. So I don't know. At this rate, that's about 15 episodes, not counting the salt, the sprinkles of salt, because those are bonuses. So probably the next 2 to 3 months, I'll probably reach that threshold. And best believe, if you thought episode 100 was one of those episodes that could have got me canceled, guess what? I'm almost 2/3 of the way to episode 200. So how about that? But yeah, I'd like to thank each and every one of y'all who tuned in. Also, I would like to thank those of you who have checked out my EP exclusively on Bandcamp, also by the title of The Trials and Tribulations of Mike Steph, 4-track EP, um, critically acclaimed by some, actually critically acclaimed by most, and just a piece of work that I'm proud of. A piece of work that can stand, dare I say, toe to toe with the majority of projects out there. A lot of projects nowadays don't have that soul, don't have that heart in them. And when I say I poured my heart into this project, that'll be an understatement. It's not about the profit. It's not about the $4. Yes, it's only available for $4. And like I said, it's cheaper than a cup of coffee from Dunkin' Donuts nowadays. But it's not about that. It's actually not even about the views, the listens, the clicks, the downloads. Not about any of that. It was something that I needed to do for myself. And I really am satisfied on it. And I was actually telling Mrs. U today that I don't even have an inclination as of right now to even attempt to make a song, to even attempt to follow it up. Like when I say I'm kind of satisfied, and if those 4 pieces, those 4 tracks are the last tracks that I do, and I officially hang it up with something I've been saying for the last 8 years, then I will have done so with no regrets. So yeah. But once again, I'd like to thank each and every one of y'all for patronizing or just listening to that. One thing I do have to say, it's almost the reason I picked that first song. Well, the reason I picked that song at the very top of this podcast was numerous reasons. I'm trapped between two worlds, but I'm living in none. And to me, that actually has something to do with this podcast to a certain degree. See, this is majority sports, a sports-centric podcast when I talk about my New York Jets, which I'm not going to be talking about this week, despite the fact that I said, yeah, I'll be giving a recap. No, the fuck I won't. They got blown out 30-0. Zach Wilson's nightmare became true, and when he got knocked out the game, aka a concussion, aka knocked on his head, and there really wasn't nothing positive that came out of that, but maybe the fact that this pipe dream of Aaron Rodgers actually coming back to say today had been effectively ashed. So yeah, that's my New York Jets recap. We got blown out in Miami, 30-0, 30 to nada. And yeah, I will not be talking about them this week, but I will be talking about sports. But before I get into that, I just have to let the newer listeners know that last week, even though that was not sports related, that was closer to what I kind of envisioned this podcast. I envisioned this podcast of me being me, sprinkling, sports, music, culture, NYC politics, etc. But mostly just riffing off of I got thoughts and I want the world to hear them. And I think this episode will probably be more back to the root of what I've always tried to accomplish. So I will give you a little spiel on my thoughts on this current holiday season. Maybe give you an antidote or two from my past. And the main event will be me talking about my Golden State Warriors and the one and only Draymond Green, who is in the headlines over the last week, in which he's currently serving an indefinite suspension for his last transgression. This time, giving you can't. Actually, no, the spinning back fist to Yusef Nurkic of the Phoenix Suns during their tussle. As a matter of fact, it wasn't even a tussle, but that was the latest in a long line of egregious acts. And me being a Golden State Warriors fan, i.e., the Steph Curry on the chest, I would be remiss, or a matter of fact, I would feel that I wouldn't be doing my job in giving you, the masses, my point of view. And it's probably a point of view that a lot of y'all are probably going to be shocked to come out my spout, even though that title should give you a clear inclination on where I'm heading. And maybe it won't. But yeah, that's what's on deck this week. I will give a short Mike Steph must have bumped his mother effing head, aka my NFL gambling picks, my NFL gambling recap, in which I really can't complain because I actually came out ahead. Yes, Mike Steph might have been a winner this week, but there's only one way for y'all to find out, and that's to tune in. And this will probably be one of my second longest times of, oh yeah, that's the intro. Yeah, the intro. 13 minutes and 58 seconds in, I finally put the intro banner. Ain't that about a bitch? But before I get into the meat and potatoes of this, Christmas, Santa. I'm not sure if I've said this in the past. If I have, shoot, half of y'all probably wasn't listening back then yet. I mean, anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And for the new listeners, if it's new to you, it's new to me too. So when I was younger, my Santa story, when I was younger, you know how I found out Santa wasn't real? I'll tell you. When I was younger, maybe about 9 years old, I will always leave a snack for Santa. Leave a little note. Thank you, Santa. So forth. I thought Santa was magic because even though sometimes my inquisitive self would go through the house and look in various closets and see all these gifts
And I know all the gifts had to be for me because shoot, my mother wasn't getting my grandma a gift. My grandma wasn't getting my mother a gift. My aunt wasn't giving everybody. Pretty much all the gifts in the house was for me because I was that spoiled kid. I was that spoiled bastard. So anyway, I digress. So sometimes I would look in the closet. It would be in there 1 minute, and then I guess I must have dozed off or I wasn't paying attention. And when I went back to look in that closet, the gifts were gone. Magically appeared in another closet. So I thought Santa was really like magic, right? We lived on a second floor apartment, but the building had two sides. You had the front side, you had the back side, and then there was almost like a bridge that married the two sides together. My window was on over that bridge, so just it's funny how mind plays tricks on you because I could swear I heard the hoofs of the reindeer, on the roof. And plus, I always wondering, like, how did Santa get in here? We don't have a chimney. We have a fire escape. Our fire escape is like in the middle of the two buildings. He doesn't come through the fire escape because the fire escape is in the kitchen. He's not going through the fire escape. Does he have a key? Does he give a secret knock? And my mother lets him in, regardless. So I left. I would leave Oreo cookies, or I would leave shortbread cookies, or just various snacks. To get to the gist of this is this: one year I felt like being healthy, aka we didn't have any Oreos on deck. So I said, you know what? I'm going to leave Santa a glass of milk, and I'm going to leave him a banana. I wake up the next morning, the banana's untouched. The milk is drunk, but the banana's untouched. With a note that says this: yes, Michael, thank you for the snack that you left me, but unfortunately, Santa is allergic to bananas, so I was unable to enjoy the bananas that you left me. But hopefully, you will enjoy the gifts that you earned over the past year, and I'll see you next year. Signed, Santa. Okay, innocent enough, right? Here's where the getting gets good. You know who else, coincidentally, was allergic to bananas? Yeah, that's right. My mom. My mom was allergic to bananas. I don't know how, but hey, listen, I'm allergic to strawberries, so it's a thing. But that wasn't the telltale sign. You know what the telltale sign was? I saw the handwriting, and I instantly put two and two together. For some reason, that was the year the light bulb came on. Like, this handwriting looks familiar. The handwriting was the same handwriting in the notes that my mother would send to school anytime I had to miss school for, uh, you know, doctor's appointment, or AKA my mother and me and my mother went out on a hooky date, and we go to brunch, catch a matinee movie, certain stuff like that. Even though it wasn't often, but we would do that. So my mother would write a note, excuse him. Yeah, Michael wasn't feeling well. Michael celebrated St. Patrick's Day because he's Black Irish. Michael did this, or Michael, yeah. Anyway, so when I realized that the handwriting on that note was my mom's, I said, wow, my mother is Santa Claus. Have they been lying to me all these years? Evidently so. But I would say one thing before I get into this episode. My mom, I don't know how she would do it, because you know how, I don't know, maybe people do this, but you know how you would kind of ask your kids what they like, or you would pretty much tell, yeah, write a list for Santa. And of course, you go down the list and say, yeah, this, this one, this. I never had to do that. But yet, my mom would get everything that I would have wrote down on the list. I had a Thundercat Christmas one year. I had a He-Man Christmas one year. I had a Star Wars Christmas one year. Um, I had an Atari Christmas one year. I had a Nintendo Christmas one year. It was always exactly what I wanted. And to this day, I'm amazed. Like, but through various means, I've realized or I found out that that just means that my mother knew me probably better than I knew myself. So yeah, those are the days. Like I wanted for nothing, you know. And plus, it was only me, you know. My sister Ooh, she had some space on me, so I didn't have to share none of my presents. Sorry, sister Ooh, but listen, it is what it is. So yeah, I just got whatever I want. I was just a spoiled kid. So yeah, that's my Christmas story for this year. One other short Christmas story, real quick, and I've said this in the past. Um, our brother Coob, he would spend Christmas with me. First Christmas we was brothers, we was friends. Um, we went shopping the day after Christmas, and matter of fact, the day of Christmas, you know, times were tight, so I wasn't even getting anything for Christmas Day. And I was like 14, so I already knew what it was, right? And never did he make me feel away. He came, rocked with me, we played old video games that whole day. Next day we got up, you know, my mom gave me the money to go belated Christmas shopping, and pretty much like half, I wouldn't even say half, everything he went and bought for Christmas, he would ask my opinion. You want that? Should I get this? Should I get this? Like especially like tapes, BDP, intelligent hoodlum, Coogee rapping polo, um, just so many. A boombox, and he would leave the boombox over at my crib. Yeah, like those were those are the days. Those are the days. I miss my brother. I miss my brother dearly. Um, and one last one, because shoot, I don't even know if I'm going to do a Christmas episode next year, so I might as well get them all out the way now. A couple years ago, I want to say 2000, maybe 2018. That sounds about right. My oldest son Kai got me. Matter of fact, I I could do one better. One. Remember what I said? Oh, I said what? Remember the question I asked you when you was in the room? Uh-huh. You're supposed to rip it, not cut it. No, I couldn't get a crease. I could have got it for you. Wow. Oh man. Thank y'all. Thank y'all so much. Even though I don't want to kill y'all. Because y'all just did it. You know, it's well deserved, man. It's well deserved. He gonna cry. Like I said, he gonna cry. He gonna cry this year. See, that year it was hilarious because I knew they was up to something. Now my son was an Xbox player. My son Kai, he loves his Xbox, but I was always a PlayStation guy. I mean, through and through. So in the lead up, he was like, "Yeah, Dad, you know, it's been too long. You know, you're just not the same when you don't play no video games. You know, you need a video game in your life. I'm gonna get you an Xbox." I'm like, "I don't want no Xbox." He's like, I was like, look, I know the PS4. Look, I'll get it when I get it. Because my thing was, when I got to a certain point, I'm like, look, I'll wait for that shit to drop. That price to drop. When it was 200, yeah, I get it. And plus, you know, just things. Anyway, so I knew something was going on between him and my wife. They was colluding. to try to get me a PlayStation. And I think 2 days before he had asked me, he was like, "Yeah," he was like, "So you which go? You really want that You really want that Xbox, right?" And I'm like, "I told you, Kyle, I don't want no Xbox." He's like, "Matter of fact, that's what I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you for Christmas." I'm like, "Look, beggars can't be choosy, so I'll take the Xbox, but I don't mess with no Xbox." And sure enough, um, he left it. I think he got it the day before, and he had to go back home, so he wasn't there for Christmas Day. And they made sure that he called me on FaceTime to see my expression when I opened the box. As you can see, I was really touched. So those are some of my Christmas memories from years past. So yeah, this Christmas, I could choose to go in a hole, but I'm choosing not to. Like I said last week, this last year has been such a enduring year. That's the best way I guess I could explain it. I'm grateful to make it to another Christmas. I'm grateful to make it to another year. I feel truly blessed to have the health that I do have, and things could have been totally different, and things are totally different than they were last year, especially last Christmas in the immediate aftermath of my situation. So, yeah, I guess I'll know by the end of this episode whether I'm actually going to do an episode next week or not, because it would technically come out on Christmas morning. That means I normally would do it on Christmas Eve, and I got things to do. Matter of fact, my weekend is packed. So, anyway, let's get this show on the road, huh? Without further ado, good night. And goodbye. Damn it. Goodbye what? Goodbye what? Yeah, that's right. Goodbye. Bang! Yeah. Death of the Dynasty. And no, I'm not talking about Jay-Z and Dame Dash. No, I'm not talking about the death of The Rock. It's The Rock. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about my beloved Golden State Warriors. But more importantly, talking about this cocksucker right here, Draymond Green. Now, earlier today, I had the pleasure of being on the Gimmick Infringement Podcast with the good brother Tyler McDowell Blinken, and in his debut as behind the scenes producer, the good brother Brad Winchester. And this topic actually came up about Draymond Green and his transgressions. Now, on that platform, I'm a very respectful man. I'm a man that when I go into other people's houses, when I go into other people's abodes, I behave myself. I treat their house not if it's my own, but sometimes a little bit better. Because, once again, that's what guests do. It's a family-friendly show. As the other entity that I'm part of, Hidden Gems Football, as if you watch both, you can't tell a distinct difference, dare I say, in my language. Yeah, because I'm a little more free. Like I said, that's where the money's at. This is more like passion. I swear, I crack myself when I do that. Regardless, but I actually had detailed notes, or as Brett, as Tyler said, I had a written dissertation on what I was going to talk about when it came to Draymond Green, but then I just let emotion carry it away. So I'm going to actually get these notes off. Shoot, you're going to get these notes. You're going to get these bars. And then I'll use that to actually riff over how I feel Draymond Green technically can be called the cause of a death of a dynasty. Yeah, these two things are intertwined. So if you think you're going to have a section of death of the dynasty and a section of Draymond needs help, it's not that simple. To me, yeah, I'm gonna read this. Draymond Green should have been disciplined a long time ago. He should have been disciplined last year after the Jordan Poole incident, the Jordan Poole situation, where he cold cocked Jordan Poole in practice and just conveniently the video leaked. Because now, if you look back, we know why that video leaked. That video leaked because someone in the organization felt that nobody was taking Draymond to task, and they wanted this footage out there to let the world know, to let the mainstream know, to let the league know what the fuck was going on behind closed doors and what a menace he was. Pure assault against a teammate, and how someone who espouses trust and espouses teamwork, when shit hit the fan, he was not about that life, was he? Think of it like this. Well, matter of fact, let me continue. The Warriors, to me, are at fault for Draymond getting to this point. Something I said earlier, and I'll say it again. Look at it this way. In Kevin Durant's last ride, last dance, last hurrah with the Golden State Warriors, remember early that season, him and Draymond got into it on the sidelines, and it came out that Draymond called KD a bitch. Said, you acting like a bitch because you're not making up your mind. You're not going to let us know whether you're going to ride with us, whether you're leaving. You acting like a real bitch right now, especially because, I didn't give up the ball. Shit, you can't tell me when to give up the ball. Give up the ball when I feel like giving up the ball. This is my team. We won without you. And everybody knew once that was made public. Matter of fact, once that was uttered, those words were uttered, Kevin Durant was gone. Now, do you remember what the discipline was for Draymond for calling KD a bitch? No, nothing physical. Just pretty much call him out his name. 1 game suspension. Just to let him know that these actions will not be tolerated. And, disrespect of a teammate is pretty much transgression number one, a line that cannot be crossed. He got suspended 1 game for calling KD a bitch. Guess how many games he got suspended for rocking Jordan Poole's jaw? I'll wait. You said he didn't get suspended? You sure about that? Well, if you're sure about that, you're 100% correct. Not only did he not get suspended, he was able to participate in the ring ceremony, the beginning of that season, the opening game at Chase Center. And that was an underlying reason why he didn't get suspended, because they're like, dog, if we suspend him, he's going to miss ring night. And we can't let one of the core members miss ring night for, knocking one of the new members out. Pure jealousy, I think it was. Yeah, I mean, listen, Jordan Poole was talking this shit. Jordan Poole was being cocky like he was. And of course, I hit the camera button instead of the mute button. But regardless, Jordan Poole, no matter what he said, if it wasn't anything, if it's anything short of F your kids, F your wife, F your deceased mom, what have you. And even in those cases, if you're going to be a professional on that level that they are in the NBA, it didn't warrant him getting his jaw cracked. Not only that, he was on some Mr. shit from Money and Violence. He told Jordan Poole, I guess you don't respect your jaw. It's not funny because at least Mr. would be in their face and talk about, yeah, which go, you don't respect your jaw and just crack somebody, right? Draymond did it on a sneak tip. He's kind of lined them up and just like leaned into it and just caught him. But I digress. I'm not going to stay on that subject too long. Draymond probably felt so emboldened, so empowered over the fact that, I just rocked his snot box. And I didn't get fined. I didn't get suspended. Pretty much the organization took my side. The whole season, this is an underlying current throughout the whole season. The distrust, the unrest within the Golden State locker room, within the Golden State culture. And what was the end game of that? Okay. Playoff time. Draymond stomps another mud hole in Sabonis. In game 4, game 5 in the first round series. He gets suspended 1 game in the series. A series that went 7. A series that it took Steph to drop 50 for them to overcome the Sacramento Kings in a 7-game series on the road. Jordan Poole effectively went into a shell after game 1, in which he decided to take the opening shot, the closing shot in the closing seconds, missed it, and just the utter disgust that was on the faces of Steph, on the face of Clay, on the face of Draymond, on the face of everybody like, yo, dude, why are you taking that shot? Never mind about the fact that he helped them get a ring the season prior. So he went into a shell. And in the offseason, guess who got rewarded and guess who got scapegoated? Jordan Poole got ushered out of Golden State, and now he's languishing in Washington on the Wizards in a go-nowhere team, albeit he still has his money. You know who was rewarded with a spanking brand new 4-year, $100 million contract? That's right, Draymond Green. The same Draymond Green that in years past, remember, he went on a ball spree. He was just kicking everybody in the balls. He kicked Steven Adams in the balls. He was just always reckless, but weirdly reckless. He would always be reckless against people that he knew he wouldn't have to deal with any repercussions over. Even when he got suspended in game 5 of the 2016 NBA Finals, in which, to tell you the truth, altered the shape, altered the path, altered the course of history against Cleveland and allowed Cleveland to come back from a 3-1 deficit in which, he got into it with LeBron James and got a technical, and that technical took him over the threshold and he got suspended. Yeah, milk does a body good. Oat milk, that is. Or should I say Cambodian goat milk. Anyway. He cost them a championship due to his reckless actions. He got brought back. He cost them one of the premier players, albeit ultra-sensitive players in the NBA. With KD, they were pretty much unstoppable. KD left due to Draymond. And this plan of having 2 alternate timelines of the young players, Poole, Moody, Kuminga, to go along with Steph, Clay, Dre, Looney in the middle, Wiggs, pretty much the transition from old to new. That timeline got distorted once you had to cut bait with Jordan Poole and bring in ancient Chris Paul. Sworn enemy of the Golden State Warriors from his time with the Clippers, from his time with the Rockets, from the time with the Suns. Think that wasn't a slap to the face due to the actions of Draymond Green? Now, like I said, I'm going to go back to my notes because I'm going a little bit too far. The Warriors, to me, are at fault for this getting too far. Look at it this way. He was suspended for calling KD a bitch, but nothing was done for knocking a teammate out. I say that the Warriors have the arrogance of greatness. The arrogance of greatness. Like every other dynastic team, that's what you need to reach those heights. But to me, right now, it's gone overboard. And this Draymond situation is just the latest in a line of questionable decisions. Just prior to him knocking Yusef Nurkic out, he was suspended 5 games for choking Rudy Gobert. Another questionable adversary because everybody know Rudy Gobert ain't about that action. Everybody know that. Was Rudy really a danger to Clay? Or did Draymond just decide and size up the opportunity to try to increase his legend, increase his legacy? Legacy that's being tainted by the day. Tainted love. They jettisoned the victim and rewarded the perpetrator with a spanking new $100 million contract. Now that it's been too close between incidents, they magically realize Draymond needs help. I'm quite sure that if that was the case, he needed it before this punch to Nurkic. He needed it before he yoked up Rudy Gobert. He didn't need it back last year when he started the mud hole in Sabonis. They didn't do anything until their bottom line was going to be affected. In most cases, whenever they did it in-house. Kerr, to me, has blood on his hands. Steph, to a certain degree, has blood on his hands. The whole damn organization definitely has OJ gloves, if you will. Because what really grinds my gears, really pisses me the fuck off, is this. I've said it in the past. I said it this week with the bros from GI, and I'll say it again on my platform. I hate whenever somebody gets themselves in some trouble, their first go-to is mental health. Now, those words didn't get spoken, but when you say, oh, maybe he needs help, maybe he needs counseling, we need to gather around and give Draymond the support that he needs at this questionable time. Well, this difficult time in his life. You know what that implies. But my thing is, why is the urgency now? The urgency wasn't there 2 weeks ago when he got suspended for 5 games. The urgency wasn't there in the offseason. The urgency wasn't there in the postseason. The urgency wasn't there a year ago. The urgency wasn't there 5 years ago. If we are to believe that the Golden State Warriors are this close-knit organization that they proclaim themselves to be, I'm not saying it's everybody's right to be in everybody else's personal business, but I'm quite sure if he's dealing with some personal problems, they've known long before it manifested itself on that court. Steve Kerr giving at this time, we have to be cognizant of what Draymond is going through, and I really feel it's unfair for those for the people in the media to assassinate the character or assassinate the leadership of one Steph Curry. Nobody knows more than I do the type of leader, the type of man that Steph Curry is. And for people to say that he's at fault, no, people are not saying he's at fault. People are questioning, rightfully so. Okay, this is your franchise. That's your man. You can't check your man. You can't call your man on the carpet. That's your brother. You can't call your brother on the carpet when it's needed. Like, not to get too much into it, but that's what makes friends friends. That's what makes brothers brothers in arms. When you feel like you have the freedom to say, yo, my man, yo, bro, yo, that's just not a good look. Maybe you need to reconsider. Or, bro, you were dead ass wrong. And I'm going to call you out. Not disrespectfully, but I'm going to let you know that's not the way to go. Or in some cases, yo, bro, maybe you do need to talk to somebody. You do need to get more help than I can possibly give you. Or how about this? Maybe you're going through something that I don't understand, or I can't fathom or understanding. But I'm going to support you, by at least giving you some type of guidance or direction on where to go to get this situation taken care of. Because right now, to me, it seems like the organization is pointing arrows at everybody else except for themselves because they enabled great Draymond Green to get to this situation. Like, how many years have he led the league in texts? How many years has his his fake humble, well, after last year, after I did what I did, I felt like I had to play a background and I couldn't be the vocal leader that I needed to be for this team. And that's why we struggled so much, especially on defense, especially on the road, because normally in situations like that, I would be able to, speak up. But being the fact that I know I was in the wrong at the beginning of the season, I probably was the last person that should be trying to hold people accountable. And why were you the last person or one of the last people that should be holding people accountable? Because you was never held accountable for your own actions. See how everything goes 360 degrees in rotation? Now, that brings me to the question, or should I say the title, Death of a Dynasty. Do I believe that we're witnessing the death of a dynasty right now? Yeah, I do. And that's not to say that this team will not reach heights. But I don't believe they will. I don't believe, at least for this season, until they make some major moves, i.e., mixing up the mix, i.e., unfortunately breaking up the core. This dynasty is dying. Look at it this way. Okay, this would be the fourth season out of the last 5 that they're going to be middling. The one season in which they were top notch, technically, was the championship season 2 seasons ago. But the only reason why they were able to reach those heights was because the first half of the season, they created themselves such a cushion that it goes forgotten that the majority of that second half, they were a 500 team. Through a couple breaks, they was able to maintain home court advantage throughout the Western Conference playoffs. And due to the inexperience of the Boston Celtics, both on the sideline and on the court, with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart, they were literally dead to rights. They had them dead to rights. But they were unable to put the stake in Golden State heart due to the cold-blooded DNA of Steph, of Clay, of Dre, of Loon. But 2019, injury-riddled year. Steph missed the majority of the year before the league got got shut down for COVID. Clay missed that year due to the torn ACL from the 2019 finals. They come back the next season. Clay ruptures his Achilles right during the eve of the regular season. So he's out. They had a mismatch, and Steph was doing MVP caliber things. They just didn't have the full complement of horses to take it all the way. Jordan Poole actually helped them get to a play-in game. Then you had 2022, in which they got the championship. Last year, I think they won, 9 games on the road, 10 games on the road the whole season. They were above 500, but they were way above 500 at home, and they were way below 500 on the road. And now this year, they're like 2 games, a game or two under 500. They're losing games that they should win comfortably. They're getting double-digit leads in the first half, and instead of the third quarter being the third quarter Warriors, the 31st team in the league, it's more been like the third quarter doom. And then they nip and tuck in the fourth quarter, and they have not been able to make the prerequisite stops to get those games. There's 4 seasons. Now, yes, we're still early in this season, but the signs are there. We have stubbornness on Steve Kerr's part. Like loyalty, I understand loyalty, but at the same time, if you want to evolve, you have to integrate the players you have. Moses Moody needs to be integrated more, which he has been. Pominski, whatever the hell his name is, the rookie. He's been integrated more than Kerr wanted to, but and that's by force due to Wiggs and Clay getting off the slow starts, and Kuminga is having a pivotal part to play this season due to the in and out nature of Draymond Green in the lineup. Sometimes it's like they're being forced, they're being dragged, screaming. But it's still, Steph is 35. Steph is a savage. But can you really ask Steph? Is it really fair for Steph to try to, carry the load so early in the season without any type of help? By this time, everybody knows Steph does get worn down during the season. He's done better getting that second win, but right now, I think, mentally a lot of things weighing on him. Like, I'm gonna look real quick of the stats for tonight's game against the Trailblazers, and Steph, 31 minutes of action, 2 for 12 from the field, 0 for 8 from 3, 7 points scored. If it wasn't for Clay and Wiggs, coincidentally, the 2 people that I said had a slow start, having 28 points and 25 points respectively, they would have lost this game. And they only won this game by 4 points after having a 22-point lead in the second quarter. Death of the Dynasty. Listen, I don't want to say so. I don't want to say it, but it's possible. It's possible. I believe that's what we're witnessing right now. A lot of dynasties don't end beautifully. A lot of dynasties have a lot of dynastic traits, and I'm talking about dynasty that used to come on Channel 7 with Joan Collins and Blake Carrington and all them. Sure, Dallas or not slandering, a lot of soap opera type things. But yeah. Anyway, it's still early, but it doesn't look good. Doesn't look good. And y'all know how I do. I usually don't really get into NBA action until about the All-Star break because the NFL is usually king. But maybe I'll be getting into the NBA a little bit more because this past Friday, the Knicks, go New York, go New York, go. This past Friday, Jalen Brunson did the damn thing, dropped 50 at Phoenix. He dropped 35 in the second half. On 11 from 11 from the field, 8 for 8 from the 3-point line. And that total romp against those guys from the land of the sun. Here's his line. 35 minutes played, 50 ball, 17 of 23 total, 9 of 9 from the 3-point line, 6 rebounds, 9 assists, 5 steals, 2 turnovers, but more importantly, 0 personal fouls. Now, unfortunately, he didn't foul that up with the second from back-to-back against the Clippers. He struggled. He was 7 of 17 from the field, 22 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists. But can you really knock him? Did anybody think we were going to get a split? I personally did it, especially after we struggled going in there. But yeah, the Knicks right now, I think they're at the record of 14 and 11. They're currently third in the Atlantic Division, and we are currently in the 6th spot in a very, very early playoff race. So, we're doing all right. We're doing all right. Should tell you the truth, we're doing better than the Warriors. Because the Warriors are right now in 11th place in the Western Conference at the record of 12 and 14. 8 games behind conference leading Minnesota Timberwolves. Ain't that about a bitch? So now to your popular segment and mine, well, at least this week, because I was actually on the winning side. Mike Steph must have bumped his mother effing head, aka my gambling foray this week. Now, I split the difference. I put a little parlay together for the Saturday slate of games. That was Cincinnati against Minnesota in a battle of backup quarterbacks. Then you had the tussle in Indianapolis with the Indianapolis Colts defeating the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the nightcap with Detroit going against the Denver Broncos. Now, I will call a spade, and I actually won. Yes, that's right. Eureka, I did. I actually won this week. Grand total of, listen, I won. I hit on the parlay. I'm not gonna let anybody know what kind of cash I'm holding. Yeah, see that? See that? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Don't look too hard. But yeah, I had the first leg of my parlay was a single game parlay. I had Joe Mixon for over 45 yards rushing. He ran for 47 yards. Yes. I had Jamar Chase over 50 yards receiving. 64 yards before he got hurt. Had Jake Browning passing for over 250 yards. He had close to 300 yards if he did not have over 300 yards. So that right there. And then I had the Bengals covering the 3-point spread. Unfortunately, they pushed due to an outstanding catch by T. Higgins in the waning seconds of that game to take it to overtime, and Cincinnati ultimately kicked the field goal to win. So I can't really knock it, because if T. Higgins doesn't do that thing, my parlay dead in the water before the rest of the slate of games went. So who they gonna beat them bagels? Now, into the second game, I had the Colts over the Steelers, and I really had to think long and hard on whether or not I was actually going to go the opposite direction. And I said, you know what? I trust Gardner Minshew more than I trust Mitch Trubisky, and I end up being right. So let's see. What was the score of that game? Because it really wasn't even that close. Pittsburgh got up to a 13-point they got up to a 13-point lead, and then they got ramshackled by the Colts, 30-13. Colts was favored by 1, and they blew that away. And then in the nightcap, I had the Lions over the Broncos, covering the 5. Now, like I said, I'm going to call a spade. This week on Hidden Gems Football, I actually picked the Broncos to go against that spread and keep it close. I didn't think the Broncos were going to win, but I thought they were going to keep it close. And I thought it was going to be the under. But I also did say that if you wanted to get some coin, bet the opposite of what I was telling y'all. Because when I say the kiss of Steph was in effect, best believe the kiss of Steph was in effect. So I took heed to my own warning, and I said, you know what? I know what I said on the airwaves. Guess what the fuck I'm going to do? I'm going to put this hard-earned money down on the opposite of what I said on the airwaves. And guess what? Yeah, that's right. Make it rain on the holes. I make it rain. I make it rain on the holes. So yeah. So I actually hit last night. Now this morning, I was had to do some errands with the missus. You know, had to get some food where I had to go to Sam's Club and Walmart to try to, you know, get the menu right for Christmas Day. So I already put my, you know what, I was so confident. I put my picks in Friday night for Sunday, because I'm just that special. And yeah, special. I guess I should say special. Special. No, I'm really trying not. I'm trying to be politically correct, but I got it made by special ed. Yeah, that's how special I am. So what I ended up doing was hold on 1 minute, because somebody's interrupted me. I said I was feeling myself. So I did a 5-leg parlay, right? And not only was I feeling myself over the wins, which is a lie, because I actually put in my bets for Sunday's game before I put the bets in for Saturday's game, but I was feeling myself for my Jets. I figured since they cost me a parlay by actually succeeding last week, that I would ride that wave, because I was going to be back in the high life again. All the doors that were closed one time will open up again. I'll be back in the high life again, until they closed the door. Not only did they close the door, they slammed the door shut. Because as I said at the very beginning of this episode, my New York Jets got slaughtered in South Beach. by the Miami Dolphins, who's still fraudulent. Still fraudulent. I would listen. I don't give a fuck. I am never going to be on the Miami bandwagon. They still haven't beaten a team with a winning record. So it's not really a surprise that they were going to whoop my Jets. I just needed the Jets to lose by less than 9 points. And did they? Yes, they did. No. They lost more than 9 points. They lost by more than 10 points. Actually, they lost more than 20 points. They got shut out 30-0, reminiscent of Coach Robert Sala's first year. And even then, he didn't get shut out 30-0. But I was trying to be home team. I was feeling the Tommy Cutlets, the Tommy DeVito. I was feeling them from that come from behind victory this past Monday night. And being the fact that I think I have no respect for New Orleans Saints, I said, you know what? They're going to go down to the Big Easy, and they're at least going to cover the spread. They're going to go against the spread 5.5. They lost 24-6. So they lost by 18 points. So pretty much my parlay was the Cleveland Browns. I had them covering by 3, so they pushed. It was voided. The Rams, I had them minus 6.5, and they beat the Commanders by 8. I should have just did money line because I probably would have got more money off that. And actually not, because Commanders suck. But in the return of the kiss of Steph, I actually gave Dallas a little reprieve. I gave Dallas some respect. I said, Dallas is the underdog against Buffalo. How is that? Why is that happening? I know why that's happening, because Dallas is Dallas. Dallas got blown out in Buffalo 31-10, and it wasn't even that close. I'm going to give you some quick stats before I get the up out of here. Josh Allen, think of this. Listen to this. This shows you this is nothing but a kiss of Steph game. Josh Allen was 7 of 15 for 94 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 sack. He completed less than 50% of his passes, and yet they won by 21 points. James Cook, 25 rushes for 179 yards. Ty Johnson, 9 rushes for 54 yards. Stephon Diggs had 4 catches, 48 yards. James Cook had a touchdown receiving. So he had 2 touchdowns altogether. I mean, they ran over the Cowboys. And the Cowboys are who we thought they were. Underachieving team. Now, it's going to be the battle of the underachieving teams next week when they go down to Miami for the second game on the road, second late game on the road. And one of these teams are actually going to have to beat a team with a winning record. Which team that's going to be, I don't know. Tune into Hidden Gems Football for y'all to find out who I'm going to pick. And of course, no matter who I pick, always pick the opposite, and you'll get some coin in your life. How about that? So, I don't have any witty clips from this last week's episode of Hidden Gems Football because I don't know. I guess I was slacking. So, I'm just going to put this in just to let y'all know what we about. Hit it. Now, for the Texans, they pulled out an incredible last-second come-from-behind victory against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on the arm of rookie sensation C.J. Stroud, who threw 5 touchdowns, including the game winner with under 20 seconds remaining. For the season, C.J. Stroud
has 14 touchdowns and 1 interception. That's right, 1 interception. D'Amico Ryans has to be the front runner for Coach of the Year so far. Nico Collins and Tank Dell have benefited greatly from the QB play of Stroud. That's why Robert Woods' absence and me a bag of shells.
Yeah. That's right. We have now reached the end of another edition of the Salty Thoughts of Mike Steph podcast. I'd like to thank each and every one of y'all for making me and this here podcast the one y'all choose to listen to and the one y'all choose to view. I did say at the end of this episode I would come up with a decision on whether I was going to do an episode next week, and I still don't know. Because I got things to do, but at the same time, I got such momentum, and I love y'all so much that I don't want to deprive y'all from hearing my just simply sexy voice, and I don't want to deprive y'all from actually getting this simply handsome mug on your screen of choice, whether it's your laptop, whether it's your smartphone, whether it's your big screen in the living room, which I prefer watching the Salty Thoughts of Mike Steph on, so you can get a view of all this glory. Yes, all this glory. And to, you know what? I'm about to get myself in trouble, so I'm not going to say that. But yeah, so what I would recommend is this. Well, there's 3 things you can do. 1, if by chance that you're looking on the lookout for a brand new episode next week, just check the channel. It'll be there or it won't. Or how about I actually go on the community page of the YouTube page of Mike Steph, and I give y'all a decision by Wednesday, better yet Thursday, on whether or not I'm going to give you, that's right, you, the masses, the episode that y'all surely need and richly deserve. Maybe I'll give y'all, some sugar in your stocking instead of a lump of coal that I'm planning on giving y'all. We never know. Or you can just kind of check me out on Hidden Gems Football, hosted by the Mojo King and Mike Steph. Yeah, that's me. New episodes drop each and every Thursday on the YouTube page of the 19 Media Group. Yeah, Hidden Gems Football, hosted by the Mojo King and myself, Mike Steph. New episodes drop each and every Thursday on the YouTube page of the 19 Media Group. If you check me out there on Thursday, then maybe I'll give you my grand decision on whether or not there will be an episode for Christmas Day of the Salty Thoughts of Mike Steph. Which, tell you the truth, it probably should be, because the last couple years, matter of fact, not the last couple years, every year this podcast has been in existence, I've given y'all a Christmas episode. I remember, I think I gave y'all an NBA preview that time that they started the NBA season around Christmas. I gave y'all an introspective, short, Donnie on the Run eating episode of, the other entity, the Salty Thoughts of Donnie Oo. I think it was entitled Donnie Mike, which is very interesting looking back at it. And last year, I gave y'all a very introspective episode leading into Christmas time. But regardless, check me out on Hidden Gems Football, and I'll let y'all know right then and there. See how the cross plugs go? And while you're doing that, check out the Salty Thoughts of Mike Steph podcast, available on the following platforms: Spotify. No, really don't check me out on Spotify. Check me out on Apple Podcasts and Google my podcast, so you can find out wherever other app I'm on. New episodes drop each and every Wednesday for the most part. Check me out on X at Mike Steffens _. Check me out on the gram at Mike _Steph, and check me out on TikTok at Mike Steph _. Yeah, don't forget the underscore on none of those. Some of those are double, some of those are single, but regardless, there's an underscore somewhere in my name, because unfortunately, my name, when it comes to the social media atmosphere, is kind of common. Well, at least Mike Steph ends. Even though people pronounce it Stevens, which they're damn wrong for pronouncing it like that, and I'll let them know and I'll set them straight because my mama named me Stephen, and damn it, my name is Stephens. Cut off Steph. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I think that's it. That's it. I'm not gonna lie. What I was listening to hype myself up to start this episode, and I think I could get away with maybe like 5 seconds of it. So I'm gonna do it like this. Yeah. It's just me, Oos. Day one, it's just me, Oos. Day one, it's just me, Steph. Day one, Steph, just me, Steph. Day one, Steph. Picture that. This WrestleMania in that big ass stadium. And Jay Uso. Doom, 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 doom. Yeah. Before I really get out of here, check out Bandcamp, bandcamp.com for the EP, Trials and Tribulations of Mike Steph EP. Just put Mike Steph in the search engine, and this simply dashing individual will pop up on your screen and pop up on your stream. Stream it, cop it, just give it a listen. You'll be glad you did. And I think I'm rambling, so that means it's time for me to get out of here. So I'm going to check y'all later. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. Feliz Navidad. I want to wish you a Merry Christmas. I want to wish you a Merry Christmas. I want to wish you a Merry Christmas from the bottom of my heart. Goodbye.